This channel is supported by Truefire. Truefire is an online library of
You can get the Truefire All Access Pass for as cheap as they ever do it, the $99 thing. So just jump and do that if you're looking for the best price you can get Truefire All Access for. So I gigged the TONEX pedal the other day for the first time. It's been like a couple of years since I've had one of these. I've not had an opportunity to gig it. And there were a couple of issues that I thought existed that were actually just a misunderstanding of the unit itself from my point of view. So put your hands up when you've made a mistake. What a knobhead. But essentially, my understanding of how this knob worked was off base, as well as some other little bits and pieces, which I think would help other people that, if they're going to try and gig this thing, that they should be aware of. Now, please drop in the comments if you've got other tips, because there's going to be some of you guys out there who've had way more experience gigging this than me. And let people know if you're a fan of the TONEX stuff in the comments. But yes, I just wanted to sort of put this out there as a sort of how you do a couple of bits and pieces in the TONEX that you probably should know if you're going to try and gig it. I didn't, and as a result, I actually was doing silly things live on a gig. So yeah, there it is. One of the main mistakes that I made was that if you see these here, so like treble, mid, they have this midpoint, or this point where it kind of tells you what was saved, what that parameter was at. So it's green here, and anywhere else it's going to move. So my misconception was that this volume was going to be controlling each preset. Now, I've been very helpfully told in the comments that this is actually a master volume. So this is just controlling your global volume, which is worth knowing if you're going to be trying to gig in this thing. So if I'm thinking like that clean is relatively low, then what I need to be doing instead is clicking parameter model volume. So I press that twice, and then how do I edit that? You just go in like that. Okay, so So that's now at 10, yeah? So then I would hold save. You just press it, I was saying hold save, and then you just go through the menu. Right, so. Conversely, if I decided that my solo tone was too hot, press parameter twice, 3 times, 4 times a lady. So it's on this parameter here. Right. So that's fine. Don't move your hands off the knob, is what we've learned. Then back, 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 save, hold save, and then press save. And then this is my global volume now, right? So that's definitely worth knowing. It's also worth bearing in mind that if you've got a compressor in your chain post, then you might want to consider how would we do this. So let's go back, back, back. In we go. Compressor, across, and then you change the level from there, right? If you've got that in, because otherwise you're just going to be pushing your model volume up into a compressor, which may not be what you want to do. So a couple of little complicating factors there that you probably need to be aware of, and I would have been better off had I been aware of those going into it, right? I guess another thing, if you were just dialing in cleans, you could kind of use the gain there. Decided that you wanted a bit more volume. If it's a clean preset, that's a pretty valid way to do it as well. Now, the other thing that I kind of noticed was that for me, there's a little bit of a gap. Now, particularly if you linger and hold the button, it's going to wait until you pick your foot up. This is to do with the long switching stuff, right? So, worth that this is your way to get to your tuner. Hold down whatever preset you're on, like that, and then long hold to get back out of it. But in terms of setup, we're going to go into global settings, I think. General. Switch is what I reckon we'll be on. Switch on release or press. Now this might reduce our gap slightly, right? So now, at least now if you linger on that switch with your foot as you're pressing it. So I think this is for me one of those things where sometimes if I'm like waiting to switch, if it's like a quick switch, and I might have my foot on the pedal for a bit longer. Versus before, stay on whatever thing you're on is kind of the lesson. So now if I was to go, see, it's not switching until I let go. Gonna exacerbate that feeling of there being a delay. There is a bit of a delay there. Okay. But that's going to feel quite a bit quicker. So those are some things that I really should have been aware of before gigging it. In general, I feel like editing on the unit itself is not the easiest thing in the world, so that is something to possibly be aware of. Jason Sudeikis I would suggest as a resource for checking out some of this stuff. I used Jason's video in order to dial in my expression pedal, setting up the macros. That was not straightforward either, but I think if you get a few of these things under your belt, aside from those two things, actually gigging with it was pretty fine. Yeah, let me know any tips, or other folks as well that hopefully might be reading the comments, if you've got tips for how you get through a gig with TONEX. I imagine with the little unit it's somewhat similar, right? Anyway, catch you in another video soon. Cheers!